Hi everyone. So, you might have heard about me, and if you have, congratulations! You've heard about me, probably in a negative light, and I'm sorry for that. But today we're going to be doing a makeup tutorial while also talking about Squid Game, because as much as I love Squid Game, it terrifies the living fuck out of me. It's a concept that people gave a green light to, and I want to talk about it. Let's talk about it. So, I'm going to be doing a cut crease look. But first, I need to put on my eye primer, and my eye primer is it's called a lid primer. It's by Smashbox. It's like this. It's very light, very nice. I like it. I'm running out of it. I gotta get a new one because I'm hella broke right now, just like everybody else. And the money I spent towards feeding the homeless, they don't give me that money anymore. I haven't been feeding the homeless in a while, and I'm pretty sure the homeless hate me now because of all the shit that's been going on. But it's literally the thing of I refuse to play their game. I refuse to play their game. Yeah, because playing into their game is just gonna make me the same level, and I want to be able to help you guys, so I have to do something different, and you might not like that. I understand that, and you don't have to support me after this. You really don't, but I'm still gonna do it. So that's a cool little cut crease. I'm using this brown color from my NYX palette. I'll show you the NYX palette after I'm done with the cut crease. But yeah, Squid Game. A bunch of stocks went up, and they made a person who was homeless famous, which is really cool. Like, good on you guys. But at the same time, it's like, they did that so it was like, we're helping out homeless people, but meanwhile, it's like, no, you just took someone who was talented and actually gave them a shot. And the thing is like, they're not going to do that for me, because I've shit-talked them enough. But this is the NYX palette. It's called Ultimate. And the color I used is this little brown one right there. But yeah, Squid Game being really interesting as a concept. It's kind of like Terror Mansion. No one really knows what Terror Mansion is because it got shut down. Thank fuck for that. But Terror Mansion is essentially this thing that was in the States, and you know, you signed a huge waiver, signed away your rights. They had reports that people were being dragged by the back end of cars and like terrorized on the property, and that's the reason they got shut down, is because finally someone went in there and got evidence that they were doing like some really crazy shit. And now they're shut down, and there's if you check the reports for it, there's people who want to go to this Terror Mansion, and there's people who are like gatekeeping the original location, which is really freaky, because it almost implies that they're going to start it back up again. Which is why I have decided to start this channel to talk about all the fucked up shit that's going on. Because in the psych ward, I met a Bohemian Grove member, actually two, and they wanted me to join them. You want to know what I said to that? Oh, well, I'm not a spider, but I'm a snake. And they said, I don't like snakes. And I said, well, this snake doesn't bite unless it has a reason to. They gave me a reason to. So yeah, now I'm biting. And I'm biting a lot of people. And they don't like that very much, do they? And their kids, the spoiled kids. The spoiled kids. Oh, the spoiled kids. Oh, the amount of spoiled kids. Who have zero concept, by the way, that they're spoiled kids. Ridiculous. Anyways. And I'm one of them. I'm privileged in the fact that I have a house and all these nice things. But I had to work for those nice things. I bought majority of the things. Those shelves behind me, the one above me too, I bought those with my own money. That little clock there was given to me by Ashley. That little boat was supposed to be for Sid. But after everything that went down with Sid, I took it back. And then there's the Walmart thing I got. And yeah, my setup's nice. My clothes are dirty in the background. Don't mind that. I'm a human being, just like everyone else. And I'm trying my best. But it feels like people don't seem to understand that you can be a human being in a way that pisses off the corporations, but still continues to make you profit. And I will continue to profit off of the fact that people hate me. You know, like, yeah, I'll profit off of that. Thank you. I'll take that money if you give it to me. And I will put it towards ending the crisis in China with the Uyghurs, the Uyghur genocide. I have been focused on that, and that's the main reason the Chinese people called me a demon moth, is because the way I work is I get into a structure and I demolish it from the inside out. And they notice that. And they don't like it. But it's the thing of, these people think that they can trust me, and I've let them know they can't trust me. And then they continue to trust me, and then they get hurt. That's on them. That's not on me. I gave them a fucking warning that I am who I am, and then they go out of their way, and they do shit. So, if you know that you're not supposed to trust me, and you still trust me, what does that say about you? It means that you're just in the same boat as I am. You hate this shit just as much as I do. It does. And you're looking at my tits. And I know you're looking at my tits. Even though I fucking hate my tits. But whatever, it doesn't matter. I forgot I didn't bring my foundation. I have to go look for that. So, don't mind me, I'll be looking for my foundation. And I have just discovered the foundation is not in my room. So I'm going to push in my very nice office chair that I got at Walmart for half off because they put the wrong price tag in front of it. And they took pity on me, and I was like, thank God, because I was a student at the time, a business student that dropped out. I dropped out because the things that they were saying was absolute bullshit propaganda. Also, there was a bullying group chat, people harassing me, and Alex deserves an apology. So Alex, if you're watching, I'm sorry that you felt like everything was a racially motivated attack. It wasn't. It's literally the fact you refused to call me by my pronouns and told me, shut up, the men are talking, which is very sexist and transphobic, by the way. But you've corrected yourself on that, so Vosh said. So, I mean, like, I forgive you, but do you forgive me? Anyways, I'm gonna go get the foundation. So, because I am stupid and never have gotten foundation check, I'm going to use my mother's, which is a CoverGirl Olay Simply Ageless. It has vitamin C and hydraulic complex. What's actually in this bullshit? Oh, they make it so small you can't read. That's fantastic, isn't it? A bunch of big words. They put caramel glucose in this? Why? Oh well, I'm putting it on my skin anyways. I would like to know the process of why makeup is makeup and how it's makeup and like why, what's in it, you know? Because they're like, hey guys, use our products, but don't read the label, even though the label's super tiny and we're going to make it that way on purpose. And I'm like, yeah, but you could like just tell us what you've been doing for the last, hundreds of years, because we realized you put Coke in actual Coca-Cola bottles like back in the 50s. Like that's all real, like that happened. And they fixed it, but they don't really address it publicly much. I don't know, it'd be funny if you started making that part of your advertising campaign. Like, hey, we don't make you guys do drugs anymore. Isn't that great? And it's like, yeah, but you're still a major corp running the world and have majority of the power over the soda industry. So anyone like Lemonade, for example, Lemonade is a company mocking the fuck out of everything. And there's a good little store locally where I live. It's called the Candy Depot. I don't know if other places have the Candy Depot, but they sell Lemonade, and Lemonade is really good. Lemonade is so funny. It's a hilarious concept, honestly. They name all their sodas after different dictators, and I find it hilarious. I find it actually hilarious. Because I totally pick one up and just start drinking it at a political convention. I totally would. If you let me, you let me on Ellen and let me just be on Ellen, I would be so happy, because it's like Ellen, for one, she's amazing. She was amazing, and she did a bunch of stuff, and now she's better, kind of, but there's some things she can improve on. Everyone can improve on some things. I could improve on some things. I've been improving all my life, or been told to improve all my life, and this is what improvement looks like. And I'm sorry that you're jealous you can't improve. Yeah? You can improve to an extent because you live with unaccepting parents who don't seem to understand that everything they're doing is just morally reprehensible, really. I had this psych ward journal. And it had all my information in it. Literally all of it. Like everything I had dealt with up until this point in it. And they stole it after writing fake evidence in it. That someone said, yeah, I said it, fuck humanity. I don't feel that way. That's why I didn't join Bohemian Grove. I don't say fuck humanity. I don't. I believe in humanity. That's why I fight for it. They can say fuck humanity all they want. Am I going to join them? Am I going to stop them? I'm going to try and stop them. But at the same time, it's because they're destructive. They're fundamentally a flawed concept. You shouldn't, if you want to rise to power, you shouldn't need to rely on some high society bullshit to get where you are. People should just respect you for who you are. And the thing is, people don't respect me for who I am. So I show them who I am. And they can call me an animal. They can call me all sorts of names. They can do whatever the fuck they want, really. I'm going to just be me. Yeah. And Squid Game is Terror Mansion. And if you don't know Terror Mansion, you should definitely fucking Google it. Definitely Google Terror Mansion. They have real reviews. Read the 1 stars. Read the 1 stars. Don't look at the 5 stars. look at the 1 stars. There are people who are freaked out by this. And it's in a different town. It's in a completely different province, different country even. But it's a real thing. And I think Squid Game gave the green light for rich people to do terrible, awful things. And I think that poor people who don't have really much of a choice might actually sign on to something like that. And they know that. That's why they gave the concept the green light. And then meanwhile, you get these people and they're like, oh, we'll try the Dagata challenge. Great. Great, but at the same time, you're literally proving their point. You're literally proving the point that you would participate in a massive murder game. You understand that, right? You understand that that's what you do when you greenlight that concept. I'm not the only one who feels that way either. There's a lot of people who feel this way. But they're happy about it. They're not angry. They're not like, oh, this is the way society is and we need to fundamentally fix shit so this doesn't happen. Because it could. If people weren't looking at the right people, this kind of shit could happen. Easy money. And you want to know what? If it ever does happen, I'm entering it so you can all watch me join a literal real Squid Game. I will have a shirt lapel mic. I will mic myself up, enter this fucking thing, and I'll blow the water on the whole thing. That's how I am. It's not a weaving spider thing. It's a snake that's been bitten or attacked too many times, and so now it just bites everyone because it's a scared, abused snake. And snakes are liars sometimes. They are. I'll be honest, I lie sometimes. Like, this is not perfect. This is not okay. But I'm trying to fix it. I went to therapy. I take my meds. I do everything that I'm supposed to be doing. Except my mindset hasn't changed. That the way society functions is fundamentally flawed as it is. That part hasn't changed. So I don't know. I don't really know how to feel about it. But you see my makeup? Like, my wing's a little fucked up today, but you know, it's okay. Happy accidents, right? Bob Ross always said, at least. Happy accidents. And I'll just keep making happy accidents until they're unhappy. And I'll keep learning. I'll keep being a human being. I also have this, I have 2 different highlighting palettes. I wanted to specify this because for anyone who's here for the actual makeup and not the society bullshit. This is a Anastasia Moonchild palette. I got it for super fucking cheap from Marshall's clearance section. And it's an Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. Do they realize they shouldn't be putting this shit on clearance? This is like normally roughly $80 and they were selling it for $20. They lost profit off that. Anyways, like, and $20, maybe $20 to them is good, but like, they could have sold that for $80, and the fact that they didn't, it's like, okay, you're undercutting yourself at that point. Unless you buy them in bulk and then sell them for that price. And that would make more sense, actually. But if you're looking for something even cheaper than $20 palette, there's e.l.f., which you can get at any Shoppers Drug Mart. You can get it at Shoppers Drug Mart. You can get it at probably Walgreens. But e.l.f. is a good product for anyone who's looking into makeup and actually can't really afford much. That's pretty good. NYX is good when you have money. And as you can see, the NYX palette, I got it for $5. It was on clearance. Like, I don't spend a ton of money on my products. I really don't. This is all shit you could get on a min-wage job. The thing behind me is supposed to be a ring light. I don't know how the hell to turn it on. I'm going to check the manual, but that's the reason why I'm not holding my phone. There's a thing holding my phone, and I have my lights on, which doesn't really show that my makeup is actually popping today. Yeah, I love my makeup. Sometimes I'll highlight my brow if I feel like it. And I do feel like it, so I'm going to. But yeah, there's a bunch of crazy stuff going on in this town. And instead of being a part of it, I want to escape it, just like everyone else who lives in this town who sees the bullshit. They want to go to Australia. Do you know Australia is like 10 times worse than what's going on here, right? Like, the only country I would consider moving to would probably be either the US in like San Francisco or California, or I would move to just the Netherlands, Norway, Switzerland, one of those countries. Probably Switzerland. But I don't even think Switzerland would fuck with me. Just because out of the fact that I fucked with... Maybe they'd respect that, though. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I feel like I'm not respected in my home country. I'm not respected anywheres. Anywheres. For being who I am. And I'm trying to be the most authentic me I can possibly be without being silenced. But it's like whenever I try and speak up, the first thing that gets said to me is like, drop it. Just drop it, right? Like, which is corporate slang for, if you don't shut the hell up, we're gonna make you. And that is a frightening concept. The words drop it. I don't deal with drop it. You wanna know what I like? Because that means they know damn well who I am. They know damn well what I do, and they're fucking okay with it. The little head nod I get when walking by some people, like, hey, I see you, you're a fellow human being, hello. Nod, I recognize your struggle. Those are the people I fuck with. Anyone who gives me a little head nod, or I will come into the store and they're wearing like a really cool hoodie that I'm pretty sure is like an artist's hoodie. And I'll be like, oh, that's a really cool artist. Can I Google them for you? And they're like, yeah, sure. And so then I Google their artist and I'm like, wow, this is really powerful. The music that this young person is listening to. It's way more powerful than the shit I listen to. Maybe I should start listening to shit like this. And that is beautiful. It's a beautiful connection with customers. It's not a stalking thing. They come in with clothes that are brand supported and I check out the brands. Because I like the brands. I like the brands. I don't like the people behind the brands sometimes. But the person who came into my work, that is a cool kid. That is a very cool kid. And they deserve a high five from whoever their parents are. Because that is a wonderful kid. And I hope that they grow up to completely understand the system, the way it works, and how to avoid all the inner working bullshit. Because the world doesn't need the inner working bullshit. The world just needs to bunker down and fucking fight the real problems. And I'm not the real problem. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just a messenger. I'm a messenger. I have not committed any crimes in the process of doing this. I haven't. You sure, you can count me like a sexpionage spy, but like calling me a whore, calling me a monster, calling me everything under the sun, I'm not a monster. The shit you do behind people's backs, to people you consider friends, that's really sad. And it's terrible. It's terrible. It's a terrible world we live in, where Deji and his brother might need therapy on a global stage because one brother is completely outcasting another brother because they say my parents. Like, no, you're both brothers of the same parents. That's a fundamentally flawed family that needs hella therapy. And they're famous, for fuck's sakes. And you're watching it all. You're watching me. You're watching everyone. Because everyone's got a different perspective. And you're interested in it. But at the same time, you don't change yours. And I think it's about time we ask, who are you? And why do you feel the need to spy on everyone? Why do you feel the need for us to be so rude to each other? Because I don't want to be rude to you. I don't. The animal character, the animal songs, those are all real feelings towards some people that I would never act on. I would never act on those feelings, but they're feelings. They're real feelings, but I'd never act on them. Never. Unless threatened. Unless threatened, like someone comes to my house and tries to hurt me in my house, that is the only way that I would ever see myself committing violence. I'm a makeup stupid 19-year-old. Like, I do my makeup. I want to just party at my house because I don't trust people out at bars. I don't trust people in my town. I don't trust people in general. And that's not like a racist, like, ooh, Nazi thing. It's, I literally cannot trust a soul. But I tell you everything. Why do I tell you everything? Because I want you to know that there's something going on and that you should look into it. And it's not me, the person you should be looking into. It's the people around me who try and influence me. I only have a disorder. I have borderline personality disorder, and they're starting to think it's bipolar or schizophrenia. It's not schizophrenia. I have tinnitus from a massive explosion that happened. There was a daycare that caught on fire when I was a kid, and I was right next to the explosion. And the reason I'm closing my eyes is because that's a very traumatic experience, and I kind of visualized it just now. And it's really hard to talk about. I mean, like, sure, it happened years ago, but you never forget the smell of a burning human being. That is a terrifying scent. And it's a terrifying, it fucks with you to an extreme amount. And then also knowing that you freeze in a doorway instead of being actually helpful, you freeze in just pure fucking fright. And then someone has to push you. Because you're useless in that moment. In that pure fear, you are useless. You're not someone who helps. You're not someone who does any of that. You just freeze in fear. Because there's flight or fright, right? Flight or fight. I'm freeze. I'm a third option. I freeze and then I reevaluate everything. That's how my brain works. And a lot of people's brains work like that third option. But I have been in this constant state of survival mode of who can I trust, who can't I trust, who's going to be there for me, who's not going to be there for me, to the point where I don't really care anymore. You're all really fake, and I'm really fake for doing this. Because what I really want to do is fight for data regulation, and instead of going back to university, throwing myself in more debt and dropping out of Harvard for that, I'm just going to sit here and tell you exactly how I feel while still being on my medication and still doing the best I can. So if you could relax a little, cut me some slack for being a human being and going through a ton. As Adele says, take it easy on me. Go easy on me. Oh, it's so good. I love Adele. I love Adele. Adele, if you're watching, I love you. I love you so much. I always have. Same with Pink. I don't know if Pink would agree with me politically on, trying to get into cults to systematically destroy them. I don't know if she would approve of that. I don't think a lot of people approve of that. But that's what feds have been doing for years. And I do it to the feds because the feds sometimes fuck up in their own job. And so I'm here to call out the position of power and be like, hey, the position of power isn't doing their job correctly. And they're like, well, then you're a killer. And I'm like, I killed someone? And they're like, yeah, man, you killed someone. And then I go and I ask the cops, hey, man, have I killed someone? And they're like, I don't know, have you killed someone? And I'm like, I didn't think I did, but apparently there's a report. It makes no fucking sense. But anyways, I had this psych word journal and it got stolen and a bunch of people wrote a bunch of things in it that were just untrue and just false, false testimonies in, the court case should be fucking dropped if it hasn't been dropped already. Because it's baloney. It's baloney. I haven't killed anyone. That goes against my inherent principles. Unless I was genuinely threatened and I blocked it out because it was a trauma repressed memory. And in that case, I am suing the people who have been surveilling me. I'm suing them. I cut again. I didn't try and kill myself again, but I did cut again. And that's bad. That's really bad. I didn't want to fall back on that, but I was under so much stress and I felt like everything was my fault. And so I just took it out on myself. Because that's what I do when I get feeling like that. I don't take it out on others. At least not on purpose. If I yell at my mom, I yell at my mom. But it's the thing of mom has been yelling at me ever since I was younger. And everything I do is inherently incorrect and against, just standards. I like walking around naked in my own apartment. I'm kind of a nudist. I kind of always have been. And I feel like clothes are a prison. But am I bitching about it as hard as the anti-mask crew? No. Fucking no. Do you know how great it would be to walk around naked in the summertime? Oh my God, I've got the body for it. I could totally walk around naked during the summertime. Go to a nudist beach? Fucking hell yeah, if it was allowed. If it was fucking allowed, I'd be going there all the time. I know a ton of people who would. A ton of people feel confidence in their bodies that they would go yeah, let's all hang out naked on a blanket, eat some sandwiches, and go into the water. Yeah, that'd be fun. And then there's people who are like, oh, you're not supposed to eat before you go into the water. You know they tell you that because it's that's like bullshit, right? That's like, you could still go into the water after eating. It's just like a bullshit rule that isn't real. And people believe it. You can eat and then go in water. You know, like, I don't know why, like, well, that just seems like such a flawed concept. Like, why do we take a shower then? After eating breakfast? If you can't go in water after, it doesn't make any sense. Sorry, it just doesn't. Like, what do you think? Like, a shark's gonna come and get you in shallow water? No, they're fucking, no. If anything, shark poachers have killed the majority of the fucking sharks in the water. You don't even need to be worried about sharks. What you should be worried about is killer whales. Fucking, and SeaWorld. Be worried about SeaWorld. Be worried about how they treat Free Willy. Be worried about that shit. Because that, or the fish spa. My mother wants to go to the fish spa. I don't fucking agree with that. I also don't agree with the spa we went to, because I thought they called it a Nordic spa, and then I noticed there's no Nordic people working in. That pissed me off. That's fucking whitewashing Nordic culture, isn't it? To an extent. I mean, sure, it's like great, it's nice. It's a nice little place to relax. But I'm sure if the Nordic people found out that people were whitewashing their actual history and what they do to relax, they'd be like at least a little pissed off, wouldn't they? Like, why wouldn't that be run by them? I don't understand. Do you just assimilate culture until you become the culture? Because that's disgusting. And I don't agree with that as a concept at all. It's flawed. All of it's flawed. You could point out all the inconsistencies in the way people live in today's society, and they will not listen. They will not listen. They'll paint you out to be a bigger bad guy than you actually are. And this morning, I had coffee with a friend. I talked his ear off because the amount of shit I've gone through recently, insane. Someone tried to ask me to marry them in the psych ward. Like, sir, you're 60 and your son is closer to my age than you are. If anything, I'd date your son. And even then, that's if your son likes me. You're not gonna, like, arrange us to be married, are you? Like, that's, I don't know. I'd have to meet the guy. And if the guy's anything like his father, fucking no. Okay? Fucking no. Like, I'm not, no. It's just, people are inherently sketchy. People are inherently sketchy, and they still believe in arranged marriages, some of them. Mostly the religious types. Still believe in arranged marriages, and their kids escape to Canada where they don't have to deal with the arranged marriage bullshit, and they can find a partner here that they actually enjoy and could talk to about all the religious trauma they have had to deal with their actual parents, because their parents refuse to acknowledge that their religion might not uphold to their children. Like, maybe their children don't feel the same way as them. Maybe their children are their own people. Oops. It's almost like that's how the society works. It's almost like that's how our generation works. It's almost like that's not a bad thing. It's almost like the actual bad things are the parents and the grandparents of the world who still want to perpetuate the system of hatred towards people who disagree with you. It's a fundamentally flawed concept. I can agree with a Jehovah's Witness. I can agree with cult leaders on some things, some issues. But that doesn't mean I'm a cult leader, and it definitely doesn't mean I'm a Jehovah's Witness. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can talk to people on the spectrums and politically disagree and agree to disagree on a lot of things, but you can still like talk and have a conversation about it. I drew Evan. Okay, there was this guy in the psych ward, and his name's Evan. And I drew him a picture of a Care Bear in a cute little outfit with a microphone. And his parents said that he can keep the drawing, which is great. Those are some accepting parents. Those are some awesome parents. They were like, yeah, you can keep the drawing your friend in the psych ward made you. And I'm like, yes, thank you. It's like, I can't be friends with you outside of the psych ward, though. And I'm like, drats, foiled again. But, I mean, at least they're letting him keep the picture. And he'll remember that there was that pretty trans person, or girl, whatever, the confusing human being that they don't understand anything about, drew them a picture and sat next to them and was nice to them. They're going to remember that about me, hopefully, when all of this is said and done. That I'm a person. I drew a stripper Care Bear for the nurses. The nurses were like, hey, can you draw me something? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Can you get me a silhouette and a picture of Care Bears? And they were like, absolutely. And so then I drew stripper Care Bear. And I said, did China get her drawing of stripper Care Bear? It's like, oh, well, China's in a different room right now, so we'll ask her later. But China wanted one of my drawings, and so I drew a stripper Care Bear. Lust Bear, yeah. I hope she liked it. I hope she hangs it on her fridge or like frames it or some shit, because dear God, it's actually like a really good drawing. Or it felt like a really good drawing when I was drawing it. It might piss off so many people, but it was interesting. Like, and I'm not really the most professional human being out there. I try to be very professional, but am I? No, I'm a 19-year-old who's been traumatized enough and hasn't really had their own childhood, because they had to, like, my mom, when I was a kid, I'll give real talk, she brought me into work with her because we couldn't afford daycare. They had to take out payday loans with loan sharks in order for them to even afford diapers for me. And we went bankrupt because Dad was an alcoholic. And she still is, but she's working on it. And she's now an esthetician. She's going back to college at 50. She's impressive, by the way. No one has the balls to go back to college at 50. But she's in a class with, like, literally one of my friends. And they're really cool. But the locals are great here. It's the people from out of province I'm worried about. The people from out of province who would rather me dead. Those people, yeah. You can come up to my work anytime you want and scream at me, but just know that, like, if you try and dox me or do anything bad to me, like, the corporation that I work for understands that I'm a human being and that I have a lot of issues with some things, and that's part of my disorder. So, if you don't mind the fact that I'm, kind of fidgety and sometimes need like a fidget toy to just relax, I guess, then maybe I'm not for you. But I have my target audience. I know who they are, and they know who I am. And one day I'll be like Joe Rogan, and I'll be able to profit off of the conservatives. And that'll be a great day. That'll be a wonderful day. But as for now, I'm just going to get shit all over. And you know what? I'm okay with it because it is what it is. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Sorry. But yeah. So thank you for being here for whatever train wreck bullshit this was. I'm going to put on some setting spray because I don't want this to fall off at all. Yeah, you're supposed to fan your face with this bullshit. Later I'm going to record my makeup removal tutorial. Like what I do before I go to bed, like my face scrubs and all that. Cause this is work. This isn't like, like this takes time sometimes. And, especially with me and my brain the way it is, I don't always get everything done as fast as other people. Like I'm not the fastest at doing my makeup, but I sure wish I could be. And as for my hair, right now it looks strawy as shit. I need to go get it cut. I'm thinking I might get an undercut again because the undercut lets it lets my hair kind of do with, I don't know how to explain. I just really hate the dead ends, and I've been using hair masks. Actually, I'm gonna take you out from your clutches. You just hear the clutches. I'm gonna show you what I mean. Also, yay, my makeup didn't look half bad now that I'm in good lighting. Oh gosh. So, this is the one I used today. It is Nexus New York Salon Care. These are $10 each. So I had $30 in my bank account. And so I got this protein one. Puts protein in your hair. I have a deep moisturizer one. There's intensely hydrating, deep moisturizing, and damage healing with keratin, protein, and black rice. So those are 3 different hair masks I use. I also use some cheap hair masks, but I think shoppers might have gotten rid of their cheap hair masks. But their cheap hair masks, I mean they were really good. And they were their own brand. Oh, yeah. I also use these dark circle things for how late I stay up, worried that I'm going to be assassinated. They give me really bad under eye circles. I look like a fucking raccoon. So I use this, and it gets rid of half the dark circle thing. And then I put the orange stuff to color correct the areas. And then I put some concealer over it. And then your finished product looks like this. Which, I mean, do I look like shit? Absolutely. But do I look at least a little bit more presentable than groggy ass bullshit? I mean, probably. So, thank you for tuning in to whatever the hell this is. Like, subscribe, do your thing. Blow this up if you care. And if you don't, just blow it up because you hate me. I don't really care anymore. Yeah. Alright, well, I gotta go back to drinking coffee and hating myself while watching good memes. And hopefully I don't have another spiral attack that leads me to a psych ward. Okay. See ya later. Sayonara, pals. Okay, bye. I'm so cringe.